What is true happiness? Here we go. I don't even need a story intro for this one. We're just gonna get right into it. What's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. Have you thought about this before? I'm sure you have. The problem is, a lot of times we don't identify it. You know, if you don't get concrete with it, then you have no ways of measuring it. You have no visual vision to reach for, right? A vision is an image that you're trying to reach for, and with that, you know, you can transform yourself, you can change yourself, you can hold on to your ideals, your convictions, and you can make things happen. You can bring in the right people to do it. You can check in with the past experiences. You can take some action. You can do a lot of things, but you need to have that clear vision and identification of what happiness is. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different keys that I feel are really important to unlocking that happiness chest. The first one is knowing yourself. The second is serving people. The third is self-efficacy. And the fourth is knowing that you can cope with what happens. The last 2 are going to get a little bit more into the cognitive functions as well. The first one, knowing yourself. I mean, that's what I'm doing here with myself, as well as hopefully with you, is going on this journey to explore and to identify our talent points and our skills, and, you know, where we need to put all these different talent allocations, and what kind of gear we need to pick up, what kind of group we should be in, what kind of quest we should be following on, right? And through knowing yourself, you gain more identification of that, right? The wizard should pick up wizardly gear. You need a tome, you need a staff or a wand or something like that. Maybe a nice robe or something, right? You don't necessarily need full plate mail and a battle axe. Maybe you could, but you know, knowing the class you play, knowing your personality type, even just knowing a little bit about yourself. If you don't know the personality type stuff, you're like, no, I don't like waking up early and reading books. Okay, so don't do something like that. Do something that's going to get you engaged and get you into the mix of things. The second one is serving. This is something that I found out through creating this stuff, this geek psychology stuff, back when it was called Boss Mod years ago. Is when I started, like, I put myself out there and I started connecting with other people and realizing that, you know, this did help somebody. So I want to do it again. It's going to help somebody somewhere, and I think that's a good thing to do. And realizing that connecting to people is something that's going to feed into that loop of feeling good, of wanting to produce more, and continuing that cycle, I think is very helpful. I've had several different points in my life that it's happened, and I kind of rejected them, and you know, once I stopped resisting it and let it happen, then it's helped out a lot. And I think that if you are struggling with being happy, I think that's one thing that you can do, is just try to help somebody each day. So now let's get into self-efficacy and a little bit of the cognitive functions, or at least the orientations, extroversion and introversion. So self-efficacy is knowing that you can create an impact or change on the world. This, I feel, is where our extroverted functions kind of live. Having within you the idea that, you know, I can create a change in the world. I can change my circumstance. I'm not a tree. I'm a treant. I can move. I'm a person. I'm a human. I'm a character. I'm whatever. I'm a force in the world that can actually create change, whether it's just a little bit or not. Helps you feel happy because you feel at power. You feel empowered. I know a lot of us introverts struggle to feel that we can do something about the world. Like, it's this big scary realm of things that just doesn't quite make sense, and it's too big. The world is too big for us to have an impact. But once we get more into our auxiliary function, or our inferior function, those are the extroverted ones, we really feel that like we can do stuff. I can create some ideas that are going to impact the world. I can adjust and make a system that's going to help people progress along their goals and understand themselves. I'm going to express this thing in art, right? Extroverted sensing could do something like that, like express it in art or a craft or making something, or like really physical engagement in the world. Like even if it's like tuning up a car or something like that, or a motorcycle, like it's you doing something to impact the world. Or extroverted feeling would be more like I'm going to, I'm gonna take this hardship in through introverted perceiving, introverted intuition, introverted sensing, and then I'm going to do something to create a social sphere that is more harmonious. So I'm going to go talk to somebody. I'm going to make them feel good. And with that, expand it out and make a bigger community, a bigger society, a culture that is more positive, more engaging, more unifying, able to bridge those gaps between people and really connect people. Okay, and you learn to do that through doing it. To do it, you got to do it. You just got to continuously take that pain and push it out and try to change the world with it. And through doing that, yes, you do gain self-efficacy. You're like, I've done it. Now that I've done it once, I can do it again. It's not as big of a deal. It's not as scary because I kind of understand this realm. I've cleared out the fog of war a little bit over here, and it's a little bit brighter. I have a little bit wider comfort zone within that. So I feel that that is another key to happiness that you can connect with a lot easier through your cognitive functions and through knowing your personality type. And the last one, knowing that you can cope. I feel that this goes into those introverted functions. Extroverts, your auxiliary or inferior function is going to be introverted. So it's the one that's pulling you in to check with yourself and your past experiences, perhaps, as introverted sensing and seeing like, how does this match up with what I know the world works like in terms of my past experiences and things like that. Checking to see how incongruent things are. Like, what is this thing? I don't know. Let me check into my past database and library of information, the quest log, to see what I've dealt with before. Those past experiences tell a lot about who you are, right? For the ENJs, for example, it would be looking again to your personal understanding with the ability to transform yourself. Seeing the world in different ways, seeing this concept in a bunch of different ways, and future processing, right? And problem solving to get there, right? Like you're running simulations, there we go, of how to get to your end goal, right? And you do that once and you check in with your introverted intuition enough times, you're going to realize that this is a skill that you have and it helps you cope when things are getting out of control. So for the EFPs, this is going into introverted feeling, and this is checking in with yourself and your conscience, even when you don't want to see who you are and how what you're doing is going to, one, reflect on you, like as a person. Like my actions are going to have a reflection back on me, right? People are going to see me based on my actions, right? As well as, your solid identity in terms of your feelings and beliefs and convictions about certain ideas and what's right and wrong and that kind of morality aspect of things, the ethics, really understanding what you value is extremely important for EFPs. And when you tap into that enough, you understand that this interaction going on out here is something that I don't need to be impacted by. It doesn't change me. Like what you're doing is not me, so I'm not going to do it. I don't need to engage in that because it's not me. For ETPs, it's more of that objective, detached, analytical viewpoint of how things work. And that does, of course, come with it, a sense of morality and convictions and understanding of who you are and how the world works. But you're not going to get that understanding if you don't take those actions and process them internally, to hone them in, to focus in, and see what really makes sense, not based on what other people are saying or doing or how much recognition you get for them or anything like that. Like, it's real personal understanding of how that works. And once you get that life model fleshed out, you get that framework for how to live and what is congruent to who you are, what is in alignment with who you are, then you get to have more ability, more understanding of that idea that you can cope. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are my 4 ideas for how to experience happiness and what true happiness is. So down below, I do want to know what your thoughts are about those 4. The first one was knowing yourself. The second, serving other people. The third, self-efficacy, the idea that you can create an impact or change on the world, especially for introverts. And the fourth one was knowing that you can cope with what is happening. All right. Hope it helped. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck. Have fun. Peace.